Awesome, awesome. All right, all right. Okay. So let me so I managed to try to simplify that whole journey thing that I made last time. So in this way, it's just like not so much fluff as it's just more focus on like being able like to understand all of the different phases as we discussed last time. All right. So the call for today is going to focus on becoming the bride's obvious choice through intentional actions. Um, and what's really important is really like to setting like the right intention by building like unshakable confidence in your bride and becoming the top of mind before she even meets you. And here's the cool part, leveraging the slow season as your training season and utilizing the power of serving first to becoming oversubscribed. So what happens is we tend to have those ideas that, oh, we're excited. It's like April and we're getting, busier and like we're excited because like we're gonna go and do some weddings and things like that. And then when it comes time that like October and then like getting close to like the end of the season, what happens is that like we just all of a sudden become very anxious. Why? Because like, okay, so now I have between November and April, and what am I gonna do? And so the goal here about this talk, which is different than what we talked about last time. So it's not really about, like it all falls into the journey and understanding the journey. And having systems in place that will simplify our work process to be able like to book more brides and ultimately make more money. But this time we are going to really focus on, I'm going back to the first slide. So this time our focus is going to be solely on those two phases, the dreaming phase and the research phase. So this is where you are going to help the future bride find you because you are the obvious choice to her. So if if we go back to the last conversations, this is basically where you are going to be out there meeting with the potential brides and also being on social media, sharing information with her, serving her prior to even meeting her. So, and this phase is extremely important is because if you want to be busy during the busy season, this is where it happens. It happens during those phases, her dreaming phase and her research phase. Let's go back to what I was talking about. All right. So this is what's going to happen by the end of this course. By the end of this course, you'll understand the critical importance of building trust and confidence with the brides, future brides. Learning strategies to increase your visibility and becoming the go-to stylist. Transforming your slow season into a period of growth and opportunity. And developing an actionable plan to serve first and create overwhelming demand for your services. So this is really like what we're trying to get out of this call today, is to be able to have the confidence that the slow season is not like something that we're dreading. It's more of a something that we'll be excited about because it gives us time to build, time to make us busy for the busy season. Okay. So, and it all starts with building unshakable constant confidence with your brides. And here's what's important. The bride must be fully confident that you're the right choice. This is really, really important. But in order to do that, you have to understand the bride's perspective, meaning you have to put yourself in her shoes to be able to be like, how does she think? What goes into her mind when she's just got engaged, or even before she has a boyfriend and she knows that, like, you know, in within the next year or so, or maybe 2 years, she's going to get married. During that phase, what goes on into her mind? Because if you can understand what goes on into her mind, you will be able to know what to say to her on social media, or know what to say to her or to do with her before she even decides who is she going to be choosing to work with. So talking about like understanding the bride's perspective, but also identifying your unique style. Because if, let's say, if you have to meet with those potential brides, you have to be very clear about who you are and what are the things that you're very good at. And this way you can match with her. You know, like I love, as a makeup artist, I do like natural makeup. Oh my God, that's awesome. And I really pay attention to this thing or that thing. Maybe you can give some examples, like just a scenario of like how you could speak to a future bride in a way that she's going to be like, oh my God, this is like a good
Yeah,
fit.
totally. I mean, when you know who you are, and like your unique style, you're able to like match and kind of like filter out like the potential brides who are not going to be a good fit for you. Like, let's say, for example, you have a bride who it just loves glam makeup, and you are a stylist who offers glam makeup. You know, if you're not clear and you're like, oh, you're posting, I do like some natural makeup, some glam makeup, here's like this, and here's like Halloween makeup, it's not gonna be a good fit. So when you're like, hey, I specialize in glam makeup, that potential bride is going to see your profile and be like, hey, you know what? I love everything that she does. You want the bride to love everything that you do, not like, well, I don't really like this or I don't really like that. You know, it's a dream for a stylist and an artist when a bride or a potential bride comes to you and she shows you inspiration pictures and they're your work. Like that's a dream, you know?
And now I'm gonna just share with you the opposite of that, like a disastrous scenario is when you have a person that doesn't know what she wants, like she's a potential bride, she's gonna get married soon, and she doesn't know what she wants. And as a stylist, you don't know what you want, and
Or what you offer.
or what you offer. You don't know what you offer. And what happens is that you're matching with someone that doesn't know because you don't know. And then, like on the day of, or like during the preview session, or even during the conversations that you have with that person, oh, tons of different sorts of problems starts showing up. And like, oh my God, like I hate what you did during my previous session, or this is not what I expected. Like because she doesn't know if she's glam or
Romantic or
yeah,
natural
all of
or
that stuff. She doesn't know any of that thing. So like, and because you offer, like you're jack of all trades, so you can be like, oh, I'll give you a glam, I'll give you like a soft waves, I give you, like a full Russian style updos and whatever. So you can like, so what happens is that nobody's clear, and then the chances or the odds of things going wrong just increases by hundreds of percent. So That's why I said here, you have to define your ideal and non-ideal clients. This is what I want to, who I want to work with, and this is who I will not work with. And showcasing your authentic self, meaning that like you really don't need to stretch yourself too far from who you are in terms of what you already learned, but also like on how you are as a person, being like, oh my God, I look at all of those bridal makeup artists or stylists, and they are loud, or they're like super soft, or they speak in a certain way. It's like good for them. But like the reason why people book with them is because they are who they are. And your goal is not to try to be just like them, but rather try to figure out who you really are, and like, like really showcasing that into the world, because you will connect to people that like that, and there are people that like that. So that here's the actual truth: is you will not book a bride. It will not happen unless she is fully confident that you are the right person for her. So people, they don't just scroll on their Instagram and then go into your into your DMs and be like, I want you. Like they have like a lot of people that they're analyzing, looking at their work, like asking other people if they've heard of that person, and so on. So if someone is not booked with weddings, that means that this is where the problem is. People don't know how good you are. People don't understand your style. People don't know what you stand for. So, in order to be able to get more brides, what's really important is that you really have to invest time into understanding who you are and really telling the world who you really are, what you're capable of. You can have gold, you can have, like tons of gold, okay? But if you just like have it hidden in, like an attic, and you don't even have the key for it, then it's worth nothing. It's only worth something when it's shared, and it's only worth something when you share it, because you are the person that holds all of that, all of those skills. But the thing is, like, we can say, how can I share that with her? Like, how can I do it? Like, yes, it's easier said than done. I'm going to just go ahead and like say that I'm going to share all of my knowledge with her, or like share like what I'm capable of. But how is really the key question. That's very difficult to answer. Like, sure, I can go on social media and start posting things, but like, it's, like sometimes it makes that this is where people get stuck, because I can, it's very beautiful, and I can say it, like I can zoom into it and say, you will not book brides until she's fully confident that you're the right person for her. I can post that on Twitter, on, Instagram, and be like, this is a motivational quote. Sure, it sounds nice. But the reality is there is like a way to do that. It's not just like a pretty words. There's a science behind how to do that. Okay. And this is exactly what really we are going to focus on for the next 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. So a fully confident bride, a fully confident bride is someone that you fully understand. And then you tell her all of the things that you are capable of, and it happens that what you're capable of is what's the answers that you're trying to, that she's wants to hear. Okay, so, and I'll give you some examples. just on the next slide, I'm going to share with you some examples, and it could be many others, hundreds and thousands of examples that can be that really can explain how a future bride can be confident in what you offer. All right, so here let's take an example of Lily. You know, she's excited. As you can see, she's getting married in a year or so. And this is Sophia, and she's a stylist. All right, and Lily has hundreds of questions in her head. Okay. And I'm only gonna share four, but we can talk about a few others, other questions, to really get the the message to be very well understood. So one of the questions that she could say is, I don't know what style suits me best. Okay. So, and I'm sure she's asking herself that, like, what is my style? I'm getting married. What is really my style? How can I,
Like what works for
yeah,
me,
what works for
what
me?
works for my hair type, what works
Yeah,
for my skin type, what works for
exactly.
my eyes. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Most of the brides, they don't know because they don't normally do their own hair or makeup,
yeah.
really.
So,
Mm,
and
on the
yeah. So, and this is how we can answer that question. So, for example, we can create a free personalized style guide or an interactive quiz that helps bride discover their ideal look. And you can post that on your Instagram. Okay. So we can create a personalized style guide. We claim to be, experts in the field. So if we are who we say we are, our goal is not to show up on the day of and do the job. Experts, they can talk about the topic, they can share their knowledge, their expertise, okay? And this is how they can be found, all right? Well, this is, as I said, it's just like a simple example, creating a personalized style guide. You're gonna say, how am I gonna do that? Well, it's really not that difficult. And we can talk about that. You can ask me questions later. How can I do that? Or um, or maybe like you might have questions about like different things. But the point is, sky is the limit in terms of what we can do to provide value and help guide that bride in her journey. Okay. So this is what happens when you create a free personalized style guide or like an interactive quiz. Um, the outcome that comes out of it is that the bride gains clarity on her preferences. Oh, wow, I didn't know that I like this. Okay. Why? Because you have provided to her some kind of a guide that helped her do that. So now she associates Sophia to the person that helped her figuring it out. Sophia helped me figure this out. All right, that's already a win. Okay. So the aha moment is that this stylist can help me find the perfect look. Okay, so this is one example. Let's go back into another example. I am overwhelmed by too many ideas and inspirations. I bet that's something that brides face on a regular future brides face when they're about to get married. It's like Lily, I'm sure she's dealing
Yeah,
with that too.
there's Pinterest, there's Instagram,
Yes.
there's the mom, there's the aunt, there's the sister.
Yeah. So there are a lot of people out there that can say to you, hey, I'm going, like, hey, this is information on Pinterest. This is an information on Instagram. This is information on TikTok, or here's the new trend. Okay. And this is what my aunt is telling me, or my best friend is telling me. So ultimately, having access to all of that information does a disservice to this person. Why? Because she doesn't know who to believe. What she needs is someone that is going to hold her hand and to help her with like dealing with that overwhelm. And this is how Sophia is going to be dealing with it. She's going to offer a curated collection of trending styles with expert commentary. And again, I insist on the word Those on the word, those are examples. I'm not saying that this is what you should do. Those are just examples. So, all right. She's going on Pinterest. I go on Pinterest. I collected the different things that match my style as a stylist or as a makeup artist. And I add like a commentary to that, like, and what happens is that the bride feels guided and less overwhelmed. Okay. And so, like, now what happens is that she says, well, Sophia makes it easier to navigate all of the options. Now I'm no longer just like walking in the dark or walking with tens of thousands of information that's coming to me from everywhere. Now I have someone that tells me, hey, disregard 80 or 90% of that, and this is what you need. Okay. And that's valuable. That is valuable. What's valuable is what the person needs at the time. Overwhelm is a problem. Clarity is a solution. Okay. Problem, solution. This is what an expert is supposed to do. An expert is not someone who's going to show up on the wedding day and do this or do this and be like, hey, I'm an expert. An expert solves problems. Okay. So this was an example. Now let's move on into a third one. I cannot find stylists who understand my unique vision. All right, so this is a challenge that she's facing. Oh my God, like I cannot find a stylist that understand my unique vision. So this is what Sophia is doing to solve that problem. She showcases her unique styles and specialties prominently because she is clear about the kind of person that she wants to work with. So she's showcasing on her social media. Those are the styles that I offer. This is what I do. This is what I do. This is like an updo that I did last week. This is like a makeup that I did. So the person says, oh my God, this is the kind of person I want to work with. Okay, why? Because I'm showing her something that is going to align with her vision. Or because I'm an expert and I'm very clear about what I do, I'm telling her, hey, what I do might not be for you, which is also providing value because you're not wasting her time. Okay. All right. So we're going to take another example. I am unsure about reaching out. I don't want to feel the pressure. Like a lot of the times the brides, they're like, okay, well, I heard about this person or that person, and those people, I heard a lot of great things about them, but if I try to reach out, they're gonna try to pressure me to book, and I'm not ready.
Yeah, it's like if you just think of the example of, you want to go and look at a designer bag. You're scared to go into the store because you're not ready to buy it, but you just want to browse, you want to see, you want to touch, but you don't want to be pressured into buying something that you're not ready for.
Yeah. So a lot of the times people they like, oh my God, let's say I love her work, but what if, I don't want to, reach out to her and then she tries to convince me to book with her. Okay. So what Sophia did, because she knows that people have that kind of problem, Sophia, she creates a welcoming and a pressure-free communication approach. She offers a non-obligation uh, initial consultation. It's like, hey, no pressure. Here's the link that you can schedule. You can pick a date on the calendar, and then we can have a call, or we can meet and have coffee. Okay. And we just talk about bridal stuff. Okay. No pressure. You have questions, I'm here to answer you. I promise I will not ask you to book with me. I'm just going to give you all of the information that you need. Okay. That's just an example. Another example, to have like a Q&A session. You can have a bunch of different women. The same way we are doing right here. You have questions about, bridal business and everything, and I'm here to answer you. No pressure. I'm not selling you anything. Okay. So this is how you can get people to come and be like, oh my God, This person is the right thing. She knows what she's talking about. She's giving me the right advice. Like, oh, my skin, I'm self-conscious about my skin. Like, what should I do? Like, whatever, whatever. I'm bad at examples because I don't do it. I don't do that stuff, but you get the point. Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Like this skin problem, you're not the only one that's facing that. And let me give you some advice. You have like an oily, like or a combination skin, and like and now it's like we live in a weather that's very dry. So this is what you should do, and you make sure to do that for like the period between now and like the wedding. Okay, or here's a treatment that I can recommend. In fact, I know the right person that you can go to for that treatment to do that treatment. Okay, great. Did we talk about weddings? No. But guess what? You are guiding her through the process. Okay. So now Lily can say, I can get advice without feeling obligated. The stylist genuinely wants to help. That's what she comes out with. So those are just examples of how by trying to put ourselves in the bride's shoes, future bride's shoes, and understanding the pains and challenges that she's facing. If we come up with solutions for her during that phase, what happens is that it becomes natural that when it's time for her to make that decision, to make the choice on the research phase, she'll be like, oh, well, clearly I don't have to even look anymore and overwhelm myself with 10 million options between styled by X and styled by Z. I'm going to go clearly to Marjorie, or I'm going to go clearly to Latoya. That's an obvious choice. Why? Because we, instead of like just sitting, hoping that the bride is going to scroll on Instagram and be like, this is it. I have this divine inspiration, this divine, message that I'm going to book with her. It doesn't work like that. The divine message is that you are sharing your value with her, that it becomes clear for her to be like, hey, this is a match. So this is food for thoughts. Options are unlimited, you know. As long as there are problems in this world, there's going to be business. Okay. By figuring out what problems your markets is facing, and not just, oh, like her problem is not like getting her hair done and makeup done during the wedding day. That's the, one piece of a bigger problem. How can I navigate the whole season between now and the day I'm getting married? How can I navigate that? Who is going to hold my hand and help me go through those, all of that journey? Okay. So think, think, what else? What are other things that this person is facing? Is there anything else? Any other problem that she's facing that I can help her with? All right. Am I clear so far? Does it make sense? All right.
Yeah.
Great. So the dream and research phases, this is where it all begins. This is where her mind shifts from like, I'm living my life, doing my thing, to like, oh my God, I'm getting married. Okay. It shifts in her head. Before that specific day, those problems didn't exist. But once she shifts her head, shifts her mind, all of a sudden, hundreds of problems show up. Not crazy problems, but problems nonetheless. Like she's like, oh my God, who's the person? Like, I need to pick a dress, like I need flowers. Oh my God, like and my mom is telling me one thing, my future mother-in-law is telling me something, and like Instagram is telling me something. So as I mentioned, your goal is to understand her journey. During the dreaming phase, you have she is imagining her perfect day. And during like the research phase, she's seeking someone who aligns with her vision. And your goal is to be able like to identify your style and what sets you apart, defining your, defining like your ideal bride, and really like be true to yourself. And by doing that, you will be able to guide her through her journey. Those are prerequisites. Those are prerequisites. Those are important phases. In order to be able to be a good guide, you need to know how to climb the mountains. You need to know how to go through all of these things. You cannot just tell someone, hey, I'm gonna help you go up like the Mount Everest, and you don't know like all of the different corners of it, or like all you don't have the tools to go through it. So this is a prerequisite. The person who's standing right here, about to climb up, I guess a little lower, because I guess at this point it's already like went to a certain level. But like the person that is going to help you guide her through this whole chain of mountains up to the summit, and the summit being like her big day, is you need to understand all of the details, the challenges, the intricacies, like the tools, everything that goes on into this chain of mountains to get up into the top of it. Okay. So this is why if you're standing right here and the person comes and says, hey, I need to climb Mount Everest, you cannot be like, sure, let's go. Because ultimately it's a life or death for that person. The same way, it's not literally, but in a way, it is life or death for a bride. If getting to the wedding day and she's dealing with a disaster, the trauma that she's going to be facing for the rest of her life is going to be huge. She's going to need 20 years of therapy to go through that, I think. Right?
It depends on the bride,
It
but
depends on the
yeah.
person. But I'm sure it's not going to be fun. It's not something that the bride is going to be like, hey, yeah, let's go. Let's go. Just trust me, I got
He
it.
just wants to make sure that you are the
Your
right
heart,
person
yeah,
that's going to help get her to where she wants to go.
totally. So, and what's better to describe that to like an analogy with something that is life or death? Okay, I thought someone else was going to join. Oh, I thought I saw something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, the photos will haunt her forever.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, your goal ultimately is to become top of mind before she meets you. And as I said earlier, the reality check, she won't book you just by randomly stumbling upon your Instagram account. That's not how it works. You have to share stories, behind the scene moments. You have to provide value driven content, and emotionally connect with the brides. Let the bride feels like they know you already. So by the time you meet with them, they can say, you know what, I know this person. They need that. But now I'm going to talk about something even more fun than that. If you really, really want to stand out, you have to let the brides experience your brilliance firsthand. not just through words, which is good. It's already like a very, very good thing, like sharing value with them, like having a consultation with them, sharing, all of the things that and putting that on social media or even meeting her in person. But what's even more important is to really experience your brilliance firsthand, to be able to experience what you do firsthand. So I'm going to dig deep into this specific point right here. So I'm going to introduce like a concept here, and I call it like the Serena Williams playbook. Okay. You girls know her? Okay. Who doesn't, right? And guess what? It didn't happen just by accident. It happened by hard work. Okay. That everybody knows her. So, and what's really important is that in order to really be a champion, you have to understand this thing. You have to turn your slow season into your winning season. That's the key. Doesn't just go and show up to the game and suddenly ends up like number one. Okay. So it's like she's doing that during the training season. Okay. So now, remember, I said this thing here. Let the brides experience your brilliance firsthand. Okay. So now we'll talk about that. And I'm going to do like a little experiment right here. Imagine if I handed you a list of 100 women. I'm telling you, hey, here's a list of 100 women. I know them personally, and they're all about to get married. And they're actively searching for talented stylists or makeup artists for their weddings and events. Some are getting married like very soon, within a year. Others next year. Maybe others, they're still like, they still have a little bit of time. But there are 100 of them. And I know them all personally. I take like I go on my WhatsApp or like I send them like an SMS and I'll be like, hey, Marjorie is amazing. Okay. Or Latoya is amazing. They're amazing people. And they're really good at what they do. How much would you pay for that list? Knowing that they already know about you and I already told them that you're amazing at what you do. How much let's do some math. 100 people. What is the average that you could make in a wedding? You could put it in the chat or you can just say it out loud. We're not 100 of us here yet, so. Oh, here it is.
Like 8 to 1,000, depending how many, I'd say.
1,500 for Marjorie for one wedding. And you said 1,000 for you, Latoya?
I think 2,000.
2,000?
What is it, like per wedding, like 800 to 1,000, depending.
Okay, all right. So 800 to 1,000, depending. And Marjorie said like 1,500 because you already did the math and multiplied by 100. $150,000. But here's the math. So 100,000, $150,000, that is that list of 100 people is worth. Okay. So how much would you pay to get that list? What's the amount right now I tell you, hey, I'm going to reach out to them right now. How much would you be willing to pay? Knowing that they all know about you and they all know that you're amazing. Okay. $100, 1,000, 5,000. I think even at $5,000, it's a very good deal. Why? Because you're like, okay, after I pay 5,000, all of those women, it's gonna be worth, let's say if we do the math with, I like bigger numbers. I'm an optimist. I'll do 150,000 minus 5,000. So it leaves me with $145,000 in my pocket. Okay. Well, I used the bigger number here and I said $2,000 per average wedding. But regardless, they're still big numbers. Oh, I did the math wrong. Okay. I have to admit someone else. All right, we have
Hello.
hello.
Okay.
Okay. So I did a mistake right here. Let me fix it right there. I put like an example with $2,000. So that's $200,000. And all you have to do is to spend 5,000. That's an amazing deal. All right. So now here's the secret. You don't need to spend a dime to have access to these brides. 100. You don't have to spend a dime to have access to double of that. And you don't have to spend a dime to meet 500 of them. All it takes is a mindset shift, a little strategy, and the willingness to serve. It's very important to understand that it is possible to meet those people beforehand and show them your skills with your own hands with this strategy. Okay? Going. Oh, yeah. All right.
Okay.
So now let's going back to Serena. Serena didn't become a legend by accident. She didn't just show up to matches and expected to win. She spent her off-season training relentlessly, serving, running drills, perfecting her games. Okay. So now let's do the parallel, because you're like, why is he talking about like a champion? Like we're
Like a
hairdressers.
tennis champion.
Yeah. Like we're hairdressers, like this doesn't make sense.
Makeup artist.
Okay. But here's the parallel between a tennis champion or any sports, for instance, and a makeup artist or a an hairstylist. So we have 2 seasons. So there's the busy season for hairstylists and makeup artists, and the plain seasons for tennis players or soccer players or football, whatever it is. And during the busy season, what happens is that you're earning, you're working with your brides, and you're delivering incredible results. And then you have the slow season. And for like a champion, the slow season is the training season. And during this season, you're refining your skills, you're connecting with your potential brides, and you're setting yourself up for success. Okay. So, and Serena doesn't make money when she's training, right? We all agree on that. But without the training, her playing season would be a disaster. Can we agree on that? Likewise, what you do during the slow season will determine how successful your busy season will be. Slow season does not equal, oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Time to retire, time to pick up a side hustle, like all of the thoughts that go into your head.
Because when you go and pick up a side hustle or get a job or do those things, you're not working on your business. It's a separate thing that you're doing to pay your bills, but you're not doing anything towards building your business. And year after year after year, not working on your business,
Compounds.
you're pretty much setting yourself for failure or setting yourself for success if you're putting that effort towards your slow season. So just by shifting from, oh my God, to I can't wait. Because I'm sure Serena, when the busy season is over, I'm sure she goes on fancy vacations afterwards. But after that, she's gonna go back to the court and she's gonna do the drills and she's gonna learn how to serve and how
Yeah.
to play and all of that stuff, whatever tennis
But
people
she's
do.
also going to like break down the strategy and see, oh, you know what, like this wasn't working for me, or like
Mhm.
I need to work on this particular thing. So that way for the next season, I can be a champion. I can get that cup, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the same for us.
So true. So like now, I put a little elephant because that elephant is the elephant in the room, which is the slow season. So the goal is to use the slow season strategically to prepare for success by shifting your perspective of the slow season and learning how to invest your time intentionally. And the thing is, like being a bridal stylist and owning that title is, it's a serious thing because it's a business, you know, it's a business and a business requires strategy. And not having a strategy for the slow season is just a bad strategy, basically, because any business needs strategy. If you're not doing something, if you have like a, I don't know, like a cake shop, you sell cakes, and then you just like, decide not to pay for electricity, that's a bad strategy. But nonetheless, it is a strategy, it's just a bad one. Okay. Same thing. A business is alive 365. Okay. And you have every single day of that has to have a purpose. And I'm not saying taking vacation, enjoying yourself, enjoying the fruits of all of the labor is not good. That's also part of the strategy because you need to be, getting the rewards from all of the work that you did. Okay. And the slow season isn't a downtime. It's a preparation time for a busy season ahead. And here's another thing. And the real, the truth is during the slow season, your average hourly rate equals $0. All right. A big fat $0. And it's okay. Same as Serena. Well, maybe she's getting sponsorship money because of this, but that comes for all of the efforts that she did beforehand. Okay. And as I mentioned, a side hustle will keep your average hourly rate in that business at $0 because that's not coming from the effort that you put in the business. So ultimately, you are one strategic slow season away from becoming a full-time bridal stylist. It's just like Serena. She was at some point one training season away from becoming number one. Running a business requires being intentional, even during the slow season. The truth is, you're not working on your business now. If you're not working on your business now, you're behind. Okay. So you have to push through the doubts and the discomforts, and you have to trust the process. The work you do now and the relationships you build and the systems that you create will carry you to the next level. It's not supposed to be easy. Real growth happens when you lean into the challenges. It's not meant to be easy. Okay. If you feel like year after year, nothing's changing, it's because you're not pushing through the challenges. Maybe you're like, oh, wow, that sounds good, but it's for others, not for me. Maybe they have the money to do this, or they have the skills to do that, or, oh, filming this is difficult, or creating like having like setting up like sessions on a page where people can have a conversation with me beforehand is, requires some tech skills, but you have a whole full season to figure that out. And also, now that you're part of the group, I'm going to be able to help with that. So any of those things that like, oh my God, this is complicated, this is difficult, this is not something I can do, it becomes easier. All right. And it's possible. It's possible. Because when she's training, when Serena is doing the training and the thing, she doesn't say, well, like running for 10 miles is difficult, or it's for marathon people. No, she goes and she does it because she knows that's what it takes for her to be a champion. Okay. So and the reason I talked about that, and I mentioned about the $0, and I talked about like you have to do whatever it takes to be a champion, whatever it takes to be a champion. And this is why, and this is something that's very controversial, maybe, uh, because of a simple idea, is that like, oh, I'm worth this much, I'm not going to do this thing, like that kind of like a mindset. But during the slow season, it's only everything that that you're not doing or doing is still going to keep your hourly rate at $0. So this is why I'm introducing like the concept of the power of serving first. And this concept is powerful, and I didn't come up with it. Those are basic marketing and business strategies that I'm just trying to implement into the bridal business. Serving future brides with your skills to naturally encourage the bookings. So by talking about this concept, the goal is to help you embrace the serving first mentality. And also it helps you understand how offering free value can lead into more bookings. Okay. Yeah. We'll get some examples about that. Yeah, let's use the Costco example. So I'm sure.
How many people have a Costco membership?
Sure.
Probably most.
Okay. So when you go to Costco, does everyone here has been to Costco before?
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume yes. Okay. Because I know that the chat is here. Let me see. Okay. So when you go to Costco, like they have those people, like offering free samples. Okay. So, like they have this new vegan chips or this new dumplings or cake, whatever it may be. And then, you go and you have a little taste of it. And a lot of the times people go and taste it. Even they say, oh, I'm not planning to buy this thing. I'm just want to, I have a little snacky. I feel a little snacky right now. Let me just grab a little bit of that. So what happens is, even with the most resistant people, and they try it, they like it. And some don't, and it's okay. But they see thousands of people, and just by giving them a fraction of what a box is, people end up leaving with 1, 2, 3 boxes of whatever it is that they're sampling. Okay? So that's just like an example of a strategy that is widely used, that is unused in the industry. Okay. And in fact, and I just found out something about this information yesterday, giving away stuff for free is regulated by the government. And the reason it is regulated, it's because they know how powerful it is, that they do not want to create some unfair advantage for some businesses. Like Costco does it, but they can only do it at a small scale. Other companies do it, they only do it at a small scale because the government regulates free stuff. But the small guys, like, like small businesses, it doesn't really apply to them. So use it at your advantage. The more free value you provide upfront to your future bride is going to help you be booked all the time, especially during the slow season when your average hourly rate is at $0. Okay. So connect with her and serve her with your skill, making her inquire to book with you the next natural step. That's the goal. If you connect with her prior to her thinking about booking or looking for someone for her wedding day, if you connect with her and do her hair or makeup for an event that she's going to, like a low stake kind of thing, not like a wedding, her own wedding, but like maybe she's invited to a wedding, or maybe she is going to a party, and providing her with a service, a makeup application, or like an updo. The next thing that happens is that when it's time for her to book for her wedding, she's not going to have to go on social media and do the research, because you've already showcased your skills. You've already told her that you do bridal. You already,
There
you
is
know,
some level of trust
there is
already.
already like level of trust. You've already spent over an hour with her. It gives you like an unfair advantage that other people don't have. You already like an hour or an hour and a half ahead of everybody else. Okay. So by giving her, showcasing your skills firsthand, the natural step is that when she's about to book for her wedding, you become her top choice. But that doesn't mean that you are just gonna be like handing out free services during the slow season. Those people have to fit your, your criteria. They have to fit your ideal client profile. Okay. So it's very important to understand that. So by offering a free service during the slow season for brides who fits your ideal profile, like you're offering that service to her for like a party or an event where the stakes are lower, but the impact is huge. Like it may, like there's not the same pressure that she is facing when she's about to make her choice for like who's gonna be doing her hair and makeup. There's low pressure. Hey, you know what? Just do it. Just do my hair, do my makeup. So because it's low pressure, it makes it easy for you to connect. She doesn't have all of those worries in her head, all of that stress that she's going through when she's ready to commit. So the reason this works is because it builds trust by showing your expertise in low pressure environments. It establishes rapport. She gets to know your vibe and your work ethic, and you position yourself as the obvious choice for her for the wedding day. So this is the power of doing that. You already doing the work that other people, they have to keep, they have to just like have to show things on social media that you've met her. And I know that Alina had the chance to deal with those situations before in the salon, where she spent time with like a lot of women, and by doing the hair and makeup, she became the natural choice.
And also too, how this is helpful during your slow season is, you need to build up your profile with your ideal clients. So not only is like the bride winning, but you are also winning because you're able to take those pictures and then post them to your social media profile to showcase, hey, this is like my work, this is like my unique skill set, and this is my ideal client that I work with.
Yep, exactly. So it's not like actually giving away stuff for free. You're actually getting the equivalent of what you're giving her, and if not more. And we'll talk about that. So what this does, if we look at the big picture of things, is you become oversubscribed. I like using this word oversubscribe. It's actually a book that I read that talks about this principle. But the idea is to have so many inquiries that you don't know what to do with. So imagine starting your busy season with more inquiries that you can handle, fully booked with brides who are excited to work with you. Imagine being so in demand that you're turning brides away. That's what happens when you approach the slow season with strategy and intention. That's the key, is that your slow season, if you approach it with the right strategy and the right intention, you will be oversubscribed. You will have so many inquiries that you would not know what to do with, that you might need either to grow your team, or you might need to give some to, have like a network of people that you could refer those people to, that you can also monetize on if you want. But the goal is to be able to serve first, build trust, and position yourself as an expert. And with everything that we've discussed so far, we don't have to come up with like some crazy strategies that require us to spend money, or to require us to go and learn new skills, or to go and do like something out of the ordinary. Everything is within us, everything we need to do to be able to implement the strategy is within us. But here's the thing. There's one idea in our head that like, I don't give stuff away for free. I'm worth better than that. I'm better than that. Well, Serena, when she's training, she's not getting paid. Okay.
She wakes up
super early. She does her trainings. She trains more than everybody else. And guess what? She's making, I think I saw the numbers, like just to make the presentation, because I don't know that much about her, but I had to do a little research. She's worth over $200 million. So that's not bad. I don't think it's bad. Why? Because she is doing the training and she is not expecting to get paid for it. She's expecting to get paid when she's playing. Okay. So it's very important to shift your mind and understand that showcasing your skills is the best way to get yourself busy during the busy season, and put the ego aside, or those ideas that like, oh, I'm worth more than like giving away stuff for free, or, oh, be careful, if you give away stuff for free, people will take advantage of you. All of those ideas that we hear all the time. Why? Because we are strategic about it. We are strategic. We're not just randomly going and picking people out off of the streets and be like, hey, you have hair? Let's go. Hey, you have a face? Let's put your makeup on. No, those are the people. She's not married. She's about to get married. She fits my ideal profile. Therefore, she knows she's looking for someone because she has a baby shower to go to and she wants to do it. Then I give it for free. This is just an example. Okay. So the strategy to do that is not just like, hey, going out there, just like starting like to hand out like opera, like just handing out free cars. It's strategic. So just reiterating here, Serena doesn't get paid to train. She knows, but she knows every moment in her practice, on the practice course, is an investment in her future. And your slow season is the same. It's your investment season. Focus on building relationship with the brides that book. Focus on the skills and the systems that will streamline your business. Last call we talked about like, the importance of setting up your CRM. The slow season is the best time to do that. to make sure that you have a CRM in place, that you have all of the emails in place, that you have all of the, all of the automations, everything that is going to help you during the busy season. Now is the time to work on that. Okay. And it helps you to gain more visibility and trust that when it's time for her to start to decide to book, you are on the top of her list. This is the goal. When she decides to book, you're on the top of their list. You are not just being reactive. When the people are like, oh my God, I need to find someone, and all of a sudden you and 1,000 other people are saying, hey, look at me, find me. You think ahead. You meet her before she gets into that panic mode. You meet her before she goes into that mode of like overwhelm and stress. You've already guided her through that process up until that point, that she does not even have to go through that panic mode. When everybody else is like, oh my God, is it X? Is it Z? Is it Y that I have to book with? See, this one is claiming that she's very good, but this one, I saw her to a portfolio and it looks great. But at the same time, this one has a little bit of an attitude. I don't like that. All of those things. You hold her by the hand before she goes into jumping into that whole chaotic moment where like the future mother-in-law is like, oh hey, go to my my cousin in town, she does amazing work, and like the cousin is like 95 years old and she's been doing hair since Second World War. So so it's
bad.
well but here's the thing, is like those things happen all the time, and you can be that Zen person that is going to make her go through that whole process, at least with hair and makeup. She's still going to need someone to help her through that whole wedding planning thing, but that's not your job. At least from the neck up, you can be her person. Okay. That's already removing tons of problems from her, and she'll be very grateful for that. But don't think just like, I'm going to say it, don't think like a beggar. Be bigger than that. Be like, hey, I know my worth, I know that I'm very good at what I do, and I don't need to go and start like begging people to book with me. Okay. Why? Because I wake up earlier when everybody else only wakes up when she's ready to book. No, that's what regular people do. But because you think smarter, you think strategically, you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning when the bride, not the literal 4 o'clock, I hope you get that. When the bride, the future bride, is still at an early stage of her journey, not like at the later stage of like the research phase. At the early stage, you show up. That's the 4 a.m. That's the training of the 4 a.m. that Serena does. Okay. So now we're gonna talk about why it's worth, like, even by giving her that service for free, it's not that you're giving her something for free. Nothing is for free. Nothing is free in this world. Don't trust anyone if they said there's something for free. There's always a what's in it for me kind of thing all the time. And we're no different, but we're just good in math. We're very strategic. All right. So those are the ripple effects that Alina was talking about when it comes to implementing this strategy. And it goes like this. By serving first, or by offering that free service, what you do is it helps you tweak and define who are the people that you really want to work with. Where do they live? What's their style? Do they love to work out, or are they more like let go kind of people? Are they like outgoing? Are they more introverts? All of those details, and instead of like making the guess, and then like how some people say, hey, just like guesstimate like who your ideal profile is looking like. No, you are going to go in the ground and working with every single one of them and understanding who are those people that you're really attracted to and who are those people that you attract. Okay. You are going to understand, you're going to ask them questions. They're going to tell you, those are the pains that I've been facing. So you will be able to go back because um uh for Shelly's just joined us, so like she didn't see like some of the you joined, but you didn't see this, and I was talking about this specific point right here. So I was talking about like all of the challenges that that the future brides face at the early stages, and I was giving examples about like examples and how as a stylist we can get to
Have like an
create
action plan and
like an
outcome.
action plan to try to help them with some of the problems. I'll be sending the slides so you'll be able to see that. Okay. But the reason I'm bringing this specific one out is because you are going to be spending time with the potential brides, you'll get to know even more of the challenges that they face. And by getting to gather that information, then you can have solutions for future brides, okay, for the next season, okay? So by serving first, by meeting, think of serving first as like a market research, okay? Working with those ideal brides and giving them the service for free is like a company who's like moving into a new market and they're like, hey, we're gonna have like a focus group to try our new chips. And this is the salty, and this is like a slightly salty. This is with Himalayan salt. This is with the truffle. This, and then let's see what people choose. Let's look at this phase, this free service, not only as a way to serve them first, but also as a way to get to gather information and help understand who those people really are. Okay? But that's just one layer. Here's another layer. It's going to help you build your portfolio. And you're going to be able to gather testimonials. By meeting those people, they are going to be very happy, especially if you gave them the service for free. They are going to be very happy, and you don't even have to ask. But you would ask anyway. They will give you an amazing testimonials. Like, she's like, Sophia has been great. She's talented. She's very good at what she does. She's very patient. She understands she really understood what I wanted. And then you have that. Okay. And guess how, like, with the more people that you are going to be serving during the slow season, the more of those you are going to get, the more pictures you are going to get, the better portfolio you're going to have. You're not going to be like scared to delete images from your social media because you're going to have so many that you're not going to know what to do with. Okay. And because you are strategic and you work in with intention, you are going to practice how to take the best pictures. And those people, because you're giving them that service for free, they are going to give you all of the time to really pose, to stand, to, have this angle, that angle, where if they were paying, you have to beg, again, going back to the begging, to give them a picture. They're like, what's in it for me? Are you going to give me a discount for something? Are you going to, or like, what is the incentive? But you are in a position up here. Why? Because you are giving that away for free. And this is why I said nothing is for free. What you're getting is much more than spending 45 minutes or 1 hour doing her hair or her makeup. Okay. So those ideas of like, oh, I'm worth better than $0. Well, 1,000 testimonials, 1,000 high quality pictures are worth much more than whatever you think you're worth. Because people spend thousands of dollars to be able to have access to that. And you're getting that for free. So shift your math. Focus Be more strategic. Be more understanding. There's so much to gain from giving away something for free. I'm gonna say that again. There's so much to gain from giving away a free makeup application
Free hairstyling.
or a free hairstyle. Okay, and updo whatever you're very good at. So that's very, very important. So with a polished portfolio, authentic testimonial, and a strong social media presence, you'll naturally attract more inquiries. More inquiries means more booking, and more booking means more money, more income, which is ultimately what we're all working towards. We want to make more, but it all starts with like a consistent effort that instead of dreading that slow season, we approach it with like a smart way, a strategic way. That's really, really important. And to finish up, your slow season can only be as epic as your training season. Your playing season, sorry. I'm bad at reading. I'm good at like sharing what I have in my head, but reading, I'm not the best at it. Well, so pushing through the discomfort, serving your future bride with purpose. Trust that the seeds that you plant now will grow into the success that you've been dreaming of. It's really important. The slow season is your planting the seed season. And that's the planting in the future. Because when you're busy, you're busy. When you're busy doing your thing, you're busy doing that thing.
You're pretty much on autopilot. You're not
Yeah.
worried about.
And the income that you will
Watering.
be making from the busy season is once. But everything that you gathered during the slow season, all of the skills that you're honing, all of the testimonials, the portfolio that you're building, the people that you're meeting, and all of the ripple effects that come from that, it lasts. It goes way past that season. The training that Serena has been getting year after year after year will go way past, when she played in Wimbledon or the US Opens or whatever other things that she did. It goes way past that because those are compounding, training compounds, practicing compounds, slow season compounds. Busy season does not compound. It comes and goes. Slow season, it's like you are layering on top of that because that's like the founding blocks. Those are like the foundations of your business. So shifting from slow season equals, oh my God, what am I gonna do to slow season? This is time to build a solid business. And as like Serena, you're not showing up to play, you're showing up to win. So if you want to win, you have to have a mindset of a winner. And a mindset of a winner means that I'm going through all of the challenges that are going to come my way, and I'm going to be smart, and I'm going to build a solid business, not just like to get by, but to build a solid future for myself and for my family. Yeah, we have an issue with the
You want to switch to the my phone?
no, sec. Okay, let's unplug this thing. I think that's what it is. Noise. Okay. Sorry, girls. We had like a little technical problem.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear? Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. All right, I think everything looks good.
Okay, you need the slides now.
Let me see. Okay, I'll go back to the slide.
Okay.
Excuse me 1 second. I'm just like trying to figure something out right here.
Sure.
Mhm. Oh, sorry. Mm,
Yep.
Okay,
Would be freeze.
are we good?
You can't hear?
I can't see the screen, it's black. It says
Okay.
Alina has started screen sharing. Double click to, let me see, maybe I have to double click.
Okay, but can you hear? Can
Still
you?
black.
Uh,
Yes, I can hear you guys.
okay, did you?
I
Oh,
just see a black screen with the cameras.
Okay,
all right. Okay. I think now you can see it, right?
did you record?
Okay, good. Thanks.
Okay.
All right. Let me just check if the recording is still going. Up, 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 up. Okay, it's
Okay.
working. Okay, awesome. All right. Well, the good thing is that it happened right when I was over with my presentation. So
And now the power is back.
yeah. So yeah, that was my that is my the thing that I was preparing for a couple of days. Do you girls have any questions?
Hello. Hi.
Perfect. Thank you.
Marjorie first.
Yeah, no, it was so good. I mean, like that right in the end, I was like kind of closing my eyes and trying to like just think about your words. Like it's very encouraging and it's helpful. So I'm gonna remember them and possibly replay it because I think it's mindset, right? So it's like we just gotta keep reminding ourselves, keep pushing forward, keep doing the work, and it's like the results will come. That's true. So thank you. It was great. Thank you.
One thing I would add is
I also
go ahead, go ahead. I'm sorry. I can
Oh no.
comment afterwards. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you so much for doing what you're doing with Alina, both of you guys. I think that um, part of what we're discussing here is what we are doing right at this very moment, which is investing our time that maybe is not as busy as in a June, for example. We're getting together to build together in a sense of, okay, this is the time we network, this is the time we start investing in our education and really hone into how to better our skills. So I personally want to say thank you because I know I missed the last two calls. I was not available, but I made it right after a parent teacher touch base. So thank you again for this valuable information. I did want to ask something as what I was catching up with you guys in today's call, especially when we're talking about serving first. I don't know if you have any type of experience. I personally don't. I've thought about it, but I haven't gone that far into exploring bridal expos. Have you guys done anything like that before, or anybody in the group for the matter?
I haven't. Just
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
Okay.
we haven't done expos, and I can tell you like one of the reasons why is because like the audience is too broad,
Mhm.
that um it, they're like I did not think that it's
Hmm.
potentially like something that because there are like I found that there are better ways of trying to get busy aside from like going somewhere spending money and may not be able to get
Mhm.
something in return. So I'm not saying that it's necessarily like a bad thing.
That's been my fear because of the investment that you put in there is not cheap. So I just
Yeah,
always wondered. So I wanted to hear firsthand from somebody if anybody has had that experience. But what I can say, and please, can you pronounce your name for me because I think I will mispronounce it.
no worries. It's Mamoon.
Your name?
Mamoon.
Mamoon. Okay, Mamoon. Let me write that you know. Thank you. So one of the things that, I 100% agree, just based on experience with what you have said about showing up and doing things that perhaps may come off as free and changing our mindset from saying, oh, I'm worth more, I don't do free work anymore type of thing. We have to put those type of thoughts at rest in these seasons, because I can attest of just, I'll give you one example, and perhaps it doesn't apply to a slow season specifically, but I once attended a wedding a couple of years ago. I did a wedding, and it was through an agency. And in this wedding, I did not cover the bride. There was multiple makeup artists that were hired. I was one of the makeup artists. And, after the first look, the maid of honor had cried so much that she had, wiped some of her makeup off from another artist. I could have just packed up and gone, but I was too busy making my little content, since I usually kind of stay back for a few extra minutes, make sure everybody's great. And I had the privilege to fix her makeup a little bit without any, oh, well, I didn't do your makeup artist left for the day, none of that. I just graciously did it because it was such an important moment. And I saw value in just being there and just gathering content, right? Lo and behold, this person looked for me through heaven and earth to find me on social media, because we didn't connect. She had to ask her friend, who then had my contact and went through my Instagram and said, I don't know if you remember me, but you fixed my eyeliner that had smeared because my friend got married. But you doing that, I never had my eyes done like that before. You did it so quickly. I am going to get married, and I would like for you to be my makeup artist. Are you available? That was one of my biggest weddings, by the way. And I share this to say that at times we can allow our pride to say, well, I have so much experience under my belt, I've done this and that. But even if there are opportunities that you say, you know what, I'm going to bend the rules a little bit. I may not be able to charge as much because it's not a huge budget wedding. But believe me, when you do things with your heart and you put yourself out there, the same ethic that you bring to a high client, to that client that perhaps has a little bit of a tighter budget, I always see the opportunity, and that there's more just the money right then and there. I see that there's going to be referrals. There's going to be the Google review or whatever website you're using to platform your business. You're always going to get some good things and pictures, most likely, at the end of the day, because I understand the frustration sometimes having to chase down on brides and saying, hey, let's say a month later, how was your honeymoon or whatever, but to have those pictures. So this is literally like pulling teeth to get those professional pictures. So maybe that's something also we can discuss down the line, like strategies of how to reach. But I know when there has been brides, particularly that, you work with, or even regular clients, you always see something coming out of it. So I always try to envision not just what I'm getting from it, monetarily at the moment, but big picture. How is this building my business altogether? Because we don't just rely on the money. Money, yes, it's important. It pays the bills. But also, is this going to bring more clientele down the line? Whether it's through word of mouth, that's saving me just money on me having to pay a platform to promote me, because word of mouth is the best. They're not shopping around when they know that they can come to you. And if you happen to be available, it's a done deal, and they will pay the price. So
Yeah, totally.
100%. No, I think you just
I
proved
gave a mouthful, sorry.
you just proved my points here, like with the example that you give, and all it took is like a little tiny action that you did, and the
Mhm.
person like did everything to try to find you. But imagine if we like those little action, we just multiply it by 2, 3, 4. I mean, you have a whole season to be able to do that. Because if we just put it
Mhm.
in our head, like, you know what, like this is the time for me to go and serve the people, and all of a sudden, we will see opportunities everywhere. Those are opportunities that we'll be able to uh to uh to see, and to be like, hey, let's take advantage of them. Let's make that happen. So it's like what's really important in that, and the reason why, like that you mentioned that you thought about this strategy and you didn't do it, is because you didn't really took the time to think it through. And maybe you said like,
Mhm.
well, maybe it just doesn't make sense, but like, like by having, discussing, taking the time to go over it, like you really can see that it could be like a very powerful strategy to implement. And another point that I would like to add is that now we talked about like the concept, okay? We like my goal, my job is to try to not just think of concept, but go and try to figure out how we can put it into action. So I'm like that, like as I used earlier, like at the market research phase here, like in that little right here, like the ripple effects of of like of doing the free stuff. Um, my job is to do the market research. I'm doing this, like we're having this community and we're doing all of these things, and we're not asking for anything because like the same way as with this strategy that I wanted to have, like thinking of implementing it, it's like I have to go and do the research and like tweak it. And if I see that it's like figure out how it works. And if it works, then I'll be like, hey guys, we talked about the concept. Now, this is exactly how we are going to do that. Step one, step two, step three. Because as I said, it's not just going and asking people on the streets. It's like having like an implementation to what we talked about today. So that's really like the key, the key thing. And I'm not going to, as I said, it's not going to be just like, hey, this is information that sounds good, some woo-woo thing that we're gonna be like, oh, it feels good to hear all of those things. Like, this is the theory. We are going to work on making the implementation of it. So yeah, so I just wanted to add that
It
little,
has to be intentional.
it has to be definitely
I
intentional.
think the word that I'm gathering is intentionality. And I think that everything that we do, if we do it with intention, it transcends to our clients, to our colleagues, and that's how we build this amazing community, which somebody just put in the chat, Latoya. Intentionality and integrity is so huge for our business because yes, that builds trust. When you're intentional, you build trust with the community. So yeah.
100%. So Marjorie, you said you were gonna say something.
Oh no, no, I don't have, I just what I said, like thank you guys. It was very insightful today.
Awesome. Well, I'm
Thanks for
glad.
being here.
Thanks for being here. I'm glad you girls enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So so yeah, as I said, like we like one thing I can add about this, how to implement it in real life. And again, I'm going to be spending time into discussing the implementation of it. But basically what it takes is that on social media, having like some kind of a link to a form that qualifies people for the service. And again, even the actual implementation of it, meaning like how to get that link, how to get that like a page, building the page, with what goes into each section of the page, all of that things we're gonna work on. So this is, as I said, it's not just words. It's like on social media, we are going to have a link that will send them into a form. The same way we have an inquiry form to book for a wedding, we're going to have a form where people give us their information. But also in that form, we are going to qualify those people, meaning, are they a good fit? Is it worth it for me to go and give them a free service? Okay. So, and this is how we can filter and not just like randomly grabbing people on the streets or like having like 1,000 DMs of people like, oh yeah, I want to do it. And I was like, hey, here's a link. You're not gonna DM me asking for it. Here's a link. You have an event or that you're going to, and how old are you? This kind of information to really get to see if they fit into that profile.
Also that they can like put their picture of their
Yeah, and are they willing to give us
themselves.
are they willing to give us pictures and so on and so forth? And by agreeing on all of that, then they can go ahead and book. So it's a way of like filtering people and getting models without saying that I'm looking for models. So you're like trying to match like between the needs of people and your own needs and making a
Yeah.
match.
Because when you think about getting models as well, I mean, I have in the past, it's like you're asking somebody to take like, 2 hours out of their day to come and sit so that you can not only do the service on them, but then take pictures. So they're like, what's in it for me? Like I've had to like obviously
Pay.
compensate models before.
Yeah.
So like with this method, it's like yes, they're getting a free service, but like you're not having to pay for like a model either.
Yeah. And not only that, you're doing it at a time when they need it.
Mhm.
You're not bringing them at like on a to put like a
Like
full
on a Monday.
a full glam makeup
Monday
at
at
9 a.m.
9.
Like it's just so it's like matching like their needs with your needs ultimately, and having like a like a match at the right time. 'Cause at the end of the day, it's just like a matter of timing. Something that's worth so much at 6 p.m. is worth nothing at 9 a.m. Just like an ice cream on a
A blizzardy
on a
day.
blizzardy day, it's worth nothing. So it's just like trying to tweak things and like trying to find like the sweet spot that is going to be a win-win for everybody. So as you could see, it's not like really trying to come up with something out of the ordinary. We're just gonna get models, give them the free service, getting pictures, getting testimonials. They are getting married, so when they're ready to book for a wedding, like you're gonna be the obvious choice for them. So yeah. Now you could ask questions. It could be like outside of the topic for you girls, like anything that you may have questions that we can answer that could be
Yeah.
styling related that Alina can answer, or
Anything.
like marketing or business related that we can both answer.
Hi. Go ahead.
I have a question, Mahmoud. And Alina. So I unfortunately wasn't able to come out and join the last call, but I did hear it after you posted. So thank you for recording because it was so helpful. And so I was up to par with the conversation of having a CRM and a sales page. That's what you called it, right? A sales page where the potential clients can go and kind of streamline who you are and make the decision as to going ahead and booking, which then leads you to the CRM and managing that process, which I do have a CRM, but I know I posted formerly in the schools page. I have currently my website is still like under construction. But I have like a homepage. I just have to add some things, and I'm wondering if that could be something like that sales page and convert it into a sales page where it doesn't have all these distracting elements that you mentioned, such as like going into a portfolio and into social media and all these different things, and you just lose the client then back to where you drew them from and then give them out to the world again. You want to retain that client. So my question is, how can we streamline that sales page? Because I feel like the CRM, I've been working through HoneyBook for a while, and it's taken a time to really learn, because it's kind of like you learn it on your own and really like learning how to utilize automations and all of that. It's been a work in progress, and it has been a very beneficial and wonderful tool. And if I may add, just for those that are still wondering how to delve into CRM, it really does make you stand out from the crowd in professionalism. I can say that that's one of the tools that have allowed me to be seen next to other artists that don't have it as more established, you can say. Is very thorough, and it just platforms you in a very professional manner. So I think specifically with weddings, I've learned to utilize it too, and utilize other things instead of the same standard that I have for brides for day-to-day clients. So somebody that may hire me for, let's say, a baby shower or a bridal shower or something like that. I can still use the platform without using necessarily the big contract that I use for my clients that are getting married. But nevertheless, it's still very consistent. And that's one of the things that with CRM, I love that it keeps you very consistent with your clientele, and it shows the level of professionalism as an artist, and it allows you to gain that type of respect. So while I feel very comfortable with the CRM, and I'm sure I can still learn some other things, the sales page is one area that I'm a little bit more interested in learning as to what to implement and what to keep out. And I wanted to hear that from you, since you kind of touched on that a little bit last week.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just use a little I like to be visual, as you girls can see that. And I think it's better to try to explain it in a form of a. Can you see the screen, what I'm doing?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So let's go black here. So let's say this is your website. You have a bunch of different buttons. I'm not gonna make it fancy because there's no points for that. And those are the different tabs that you have on top. Okay. And you have let's say um um right. Okay, so this is your website where you have all of your different tabs, and you said it's under construction, right? And you said the home page. Your home page is you want it to be your sales page. Okay. The problem,
Okay.
and you'll be able to understand it very quickly, is that if this is under construction, okay, or even if you have it 95% done, so meaning your head is like stressing out about like all of the everything that what happens in this tab or whatever, and then you have this homepage as being like your sales page with the the inquiry button, might as well just and you have your inquire now, just for the sake of the example here. So you have the
That's literally what I have.
pic.
My inquiry
Yeah,
button and like social media links and things
yeah.
like that.
So
And
so
the name
hmm.
coming
So
soon.
yeah, yeah. So basically, if this is your website and you have all of those things with your inquiry now here, well, aside from distracting the people that where they can go and check other pages and whatnot and forget about like what they came for, but you still have it under construction, and even if it's like 98% done, you're stressing out about like this not looking good, and like maybe like something that's missing could make that person be like, hey, this, I don't want to book with this person, like something is a little off or whatnot. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this same example right here. I'm gonna lock this page. How do I lock it? There is, okay. Okay, we're gonna lock this. Now we're gonna take this whole thing. This you leave it as it is, okay? Like you can work on it, take your time, build it, no stress. Now we're gonna take another example. You own your domain name? Do you have your
Yes, I have one. And you
okay?
can actually use it as an example if it helps too.
Sure, what is it?
Is shayluxbeauty.com, SHEILUXBEAUTY. And you can even screenshot it just so they can analyze because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very much like what you're doing right now.
yeah.
X
Yeah, X.
ShayLuxBeauty.com. It's so funny because even beauty.
Okay.
Is there an E at the end of the X or no? Or is it just
No,
Okay, so that's
LUX only.
all
okay?
right. So let's
Yep, you got it. You got it.
all right. So let's do that here. So now if we take this one, for example, and we're gonna delete this stuff. We're gonna have to make it slightly more realistic. For the sake of example, so just gonna put like different sections right here. Section one.
You can just like copy it now. And then fix it.
Um,
I think it's behind the
it's
layer, that's
behind.
why.
Oh, okay. So here we have that. Okay. Just like that, we have like an inquire, and this is like a, like your head, that's called the hero section in like a landing page. Um, But here you build all of your sections. There's no top, there's no home, there's no nothing going on, just like inquire, 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 inquire. From top to bottom. Every time you have a section, you have an inquire now. You move on to
Right.
the section, you put inquire now. This way, like when people start scrolling, like, and let's say they feel like, oh, I want to inquire, like they don't have to scroll back up. Like that inquire button is always there with them at every stage of their learning about you. Like let's say here you have um like the benefits of working with you. We'll just like benefits of working with you. And again, this is just like a quick thing just for to be able to represent things. Oh, okay. So here you talk about the benefits of working with me, and then you have, some bullet points. And then here you have, down here you have, testimonials that you gathered because you've offered a lot of free services during the slow season that you have so many to put in here. Testimonials. And then you have different images here of different things. So when you have it this way, as you are working on this thing right here that you're working on, and like what goes into like my philosophy of as a bridal stylist, and the mission statement, and all of the different tabs and whatnot you have here, and you, instead of having this called SheilaLuxBeauty.com, you have to go to into your you create a separate page that you do not link here. You do not link into your tabs, and you make it separate. Let's say call it /inquire. And this page is separate. And this is the one that you're gonna go and put on your Instagram, or like your bio. If you have a link in bio, you put it there. And you keep this, if you don't feel comfortable, just keep it under construction, as it's called, because it's under construction, so you hide it. Okay, unless if you feel like you're comfortable having it, and then you only work with this page. Okay, because ultimately when you own the domain, you can have either pages put together just like a book, and you make it like a book, like a website is a book, or you can have a page like a flyer. Let's compare, like this is an opportunity for me.
Which is what I currently have.
What's that?
What I don't have is that's exactly what I'm doing. Well, as I'm working on the website, I have stuff that is hidden, so it's not it hasn't been published, right? So I have that what I call it the landing page because when you go to shayluxbeauty.com, you're gonna see the screen, which that big button which is says book now, and you have a couple of links in the bottom which leads you to my Instagram, it will lead you to Google reviews just to kind of get a feel. But I don't have that, for example, like benefits of working with me, which I think would be probably important to introduce as far as like a sales page for that quick, okay, what value am I able to give you? Would
Yeah.
you agree?
Oh, 100%. So ultimately, and that's like now I'm just gonna give like a little idea, but ultimately building this is like the one of the best investments that you can make into your business. It's because everything that you have to say to a potential bride uh has to be here. And because it's a one shot, meaning that you have like literally like a few seconds to captivate the reader or your potential bride, that every detail matters. And it's not built randomly. You cannot have like some kind of a highway built without like engineering and everything that is going to lead people from the big highway into their small little town. And ultimately that like page is pretty much like that little bridge or like that little thing that gets you out from the highway out of the if it's built wrong, you're gonna end up stuck, or like you're gonna end up continuing into another exit. So this page is super 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 important. Yeah.
Yeah. It will be like kind of like stating the what they call the elevator pitch. You have a few seconds to retain it, and it's like you either do it or you don't, type of thing. Like, you
100%.
know,
Yeah. And
have
that,
you ever heard that term before? The elevator pitch?
oh,
Yeah.
totally. And the elevator pitch fits into, well, actually, that's your page. But the top section, which is like in the marketing jargon, they call it the hero section. It's basically you have two sentences, a headline and a subheadline to really describe what you do. And that's is going to resonate with the bride, with the future bride. So when she reads those, she's either going to go with you or she is not going to go with you. So that's really the key. And that's part of like the first, in the elevator pitch. Probably, you can break it down into like the first sentence or two, and that's what goes into that beginning of the structure of your page, or the elevator pitch is what goes into the top page. I help blah blah blah, this without any kind of sacrifice or things like that. Whatever sentence, the structure of the sentence needs to go into the top page to be able to really explain to them what if you are the right fit. But and let me, girls, tell you this thing, and I think that also ties into the whole to the whole presentation that I shared earlier, is identifying, understanding who you are as a stylist is going to be what's going to help you build this page. So you cannot skip things, like by really being intentional and really understanding what it is that you're, good at. What are the ways that you can help the bride throughout the whole process, the whole journey, is really going to help you build the page. Like it's like all different things tied together. And if one thing is broken, it messes up everything else. So that's why like there's a lot more into, you know, uh, taking taking the time to really working on that is going to help you build this thing. And by building this thing, you're gonna have more inquiries that goes into that. But just to go back to your question, because otherwise I can really go deep or sideways depending on my mind, I guess. Um, keep, have a page, okay? Make it, you know, separated from the rest. That means you don't link this page in here. You don't put it in one of those little buttons that is going to send people into this page. And build it. Go into, can you see like my screen? Is it still on the
Yes,
presentation
I can see it.
or did it, is it still on the,
Yes,
or is it
you're on
Google?
Google. You're in
Okay.
the search bar.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Google.
Making sure.
Google search bar.
Because on Zoom, like I can, you know, it can be set up in different ways. So I'm gonna just go to Pinterest.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, that's so on here on Pinterest, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at bridal stylist, uh, landing page. Okay. So here, and again, everyone has their own different strategy of doing it, and some of them are going to have like the whole menu on top and everything. But it doesn't matter because here, what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out what is going to work for us. But if you go into a thing like any page, okay, and you can see that there's like some structure and like I am randomly clicking on those things. Like I've never been into this one, but oh, this is brand new.
It's a blog. I think.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
blog. Okay, never mind. Let's see what trying to find like just some kind of a, let's see if this is another.
It's an Etsy.
Oh, she's selling but ultimately there's going to be like some kind of a structure that you can go and do some research. Maybe you can go on Instagram and look at different like, 20,000 plus followers kind of accounts. And then they, or like 50,000 and you're gonna see like some of their websites. And then you can start reading what they are putting on their pages. That will help you get to see which ones like have a good structure, and also like what goes into like a landing page. I know the structure, not just basically specifically into the bridal industry, but like it can apply literally into any kind of tool. Like it could work for like a roofer, plumber, bridal stylist, or like a musician. And it's just like a matter of like understanding the pains of the people and make it and trying to think what are the things that I have to say that is going to resonate with the bride. That's ultimately what it is. But that's a whole video that I can make, and we can break it down and talk about it, which we will. And also, like, it's gonna be like 3 people are gonna get that for free, where I'm gonna be working on it. So yeah, so like and then I can really go deeper into that. But for now, you can just do some research, get some ideas that can also help you be clear about like like your ideal um the ideal profile for your bride, like just so that you can be like, this is the kind of people that I like
And then
working
also
with.
understanding like your signature style as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Because the
exactly.
ideal bride profile
Of
and
course, yeah.
tied together.
Yeah, and that is going to be like reflecting on
Yeah.
that landing page. But I hope that that answers your question in terms of, like leaving this page alone and work, taking your time to build it, no stress, no pressure. Because ultimately, as I mentioned
Mhm.
in the video last time, all that matters for someone who is in the research phase, like researching, they don't care about leaving a review on Google. They will read your reviews, but they're not going to leave a review
Right.
for you because they have not booked for you. So it's irrelevant. And I've seen that in some people's websites. They're like, "Oh,
Correct.
review,
Right.
uh, something that's completely irrelevant. Like that's for a separate thing. You don't put a
Mhm.
toilet bowl in the kitchen. It doesn't fit there. The kitchen, you have a
Of
stove
course.
thing, And
Right, right.
when you're building like a page, you want to make sure that you only put the things that matter. And because people like, they're like, oh, I need to build a website. Then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's like, oh, let me build a house. And they start like just randomly putting things in random places.
Mm,
Then it becomes,
right,
and it's not even what they're supposed to do at the first place.
right, right.
So, so,
Mm-hmm. Right,
and
right.
this is why I'm like, okay, you
That
know what?
makes sense.
Let's just stay hyper focused and laser focused on the things that really matter. And instead of going wide,
Right. Mm-hmm.
we go deep on like basic.
Right,
We're gonna go deep in this
right.
community into these phases, and we're gonna try to understand them. And each phase, as we talked today about like the dreaming phase and the research phase, like I try to explain how we can master that, and then the CRM is going to master this phase, and the website is going to be specifically here, or like the landing page, the sales page is going to be right here. I mean, the rest is your work.
Right.
That's not my thing, but yeah, like my goal is to
Of
remove all of
course.
the
Yeah.
fluff, remove all of the fluff and just like really staying
Mhm.
focused on what matters.
Get
So
to it. Right. And
yeah,
stay
get to it. Like,
streamlined.
there's
That makes sense.
so much the same way the bride or
Right.
the bride is like, there's so much fluff, so much information that like she needs someone like you that
Mm-hmm.
hold her by the hand. Like as a
Right.
bridal stylist, there's so much fluff, so much information, conflicting information. One person says, "Oh, I'm doing it this way. Oh, I'm doing SEO, and like I'm trying to get like my website listed like on number one on Google." Another person's like, "Oh, like I do trade shows," and someone else it's like, "Okay, let's just go back to the basics and let's really try to understand what is it exactly that we're doing."
Mhm.
Going through the phases. So
Right.
we'll get into that. I'm glad that you brought this topic up because that's going to give me ideas of what to talk about, because I need your insights to be able to build those things. And
I
but
mean, this is the real deal, right? Like,
uh,
this is exactly how you said it, the black background. That's exactly like I have, coming soon. It's kind of like just look at, you can book me now and then, you can easily just click to see reviews and stuff. So it gives me also peace of mind that because I know that hasn't stopped me from booking, but I'm always looking at ways to continually evolve as a stylist, as a bridal hair and makeup artist to get to potential clients, get to know me, and obviously book me. But a lot of what you said makes perfect sense because, it's all about staying focused on the things that actually matter because all these other things, yes, they're great. Doesn't mean they're bad. They're just other tools, but that's not what necessarily is landing the booking. So I get that.
yeah. So as I said, like once you have like a solid book, and then maybe you want to increase your prices even more, then maybe like having like and also you gathered already a lot of testimonials. You've gathered already like a lot of information. You have a lot of cash flow that you can be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do like a photo shoot by the water, and I'm gonna have like a beautiful women in different, because I have a strategic marketing campaign that I want to have, and I'm gonna have them all like in the water, all dressed in different looks, and I'm gonna have so the person taking some beautiful pictures that I want to put on the website because that is going to increase my brand's value. Sure, but to be able to go and get the cash flow, you have to get yourself very, very, very booked, increasing the prices in
Yes.
order to do those things. And people like they just like switch things and they're like, oh, let me just go and start investing in those things. And no, like we'll start with like it's basically like bootstrapping your business without having to go and try to overstretch yourself and when you do certain things too soon, all it does is it just goes and it's doesn't serve you really. It's just like certain things can work and they work at the right time. When you do them, when the timing is right to do them, they will give you a result. If you do them too soon, then they will come and they will work against you because they will take your time, they will take your energy and your money, and then the what's gonna happen, what's gonna come out of it is going to be so little compared to everything that you put into it, and it's gonna make you discouraged, and you're gonna start like hating yourself. Why did I do that? I'm stupid. All of the, like internal talk that we have with ourselves for nothing. So it's just like, okay, we'll take like little steps that make sense rather than random steps that are going to get us like fall flat on our heads. Um, yeah, so
Absolutely. Thank you.
of course, of course. So yeah, we'll talk about this topic. I hope that this was, that I was able to answer your question. And if anyone else has any other question, I'll be happy to answer. It could be also like, hair.
You could
Thank
also
you for
Stuff.
reading, by the way.
you
Of
could
course.
also always like send like on school posts to like ask questions as well.
Yeah, yeah, no, please don't
Yeah.
hesitate. I
Perfect.
feel, school is new to me. Like I'm still like trying to learn how to keep it engaging for everyone and
Mhm.
whatnot. But if just like it also will help other people see it. Like when you leave a post or commenting on the community, it makes other people be like, oh wow, like this is good. Like maybe I should join the next call, and then it's like has like that ripple effect.
Mhm.
Uh, and ultimately it's going to be like a win-win
Yes.
for everybody because like if you ask a question that might help someone else like may have the same question, and I could talk about it and we can have an answer that everybody will benefit from that. So yeah, but as I'm here, if anyone else has a specific question, I'm happy to help.
Great. I think we're
Mhm.
we're good then.
All right.
Thank you so much for, taking the time out of your schedules to like be with us. It has been, I would say, like a dream for a long time for us to have a community to share our knowledge and education. I mean, we've invested so much and we just want to give back, and just have a community.
Yep, no,
Yeah.
definitely. Like we've been dreaming of doing this, so like now
Yeah.
we just finally we're able
Literally,
to.
it's been like years.
Yeah, I'm like, okay,
So we're like, you know what?
Thank you for
It's gonna happen.
thank you so much, guys, for just heeding to that because sometimes I know it's tough just to take that first step also, and you can easily allow, well, what if it doesn't work out? What if nobody shows up? What if like it feels foolish, right? But you took that step of faith and say, yeah, we're just gonna do it. And look, you have you're starting to build your team, which I love that for you guys. So
thank
thank you
you.
again for everything that you're doing to
And
giving back to us as artists and stylists. So I know I'm very grateful, and I'm sure everybody else agrees. This is a lot of insightful information that
awesome.
we're just very happy to have available.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much. I'm grateful that you girls had joined this call and given us like more incentive to keep pushing and
Mhm.
provide with more valuable and insightful information for you. I'm going to take that whole presentation that I made. I'm going to have it sent to you girls. This way you can go over that.
Yeah, we'll upload it
Uh,
with the video,
yeah, we'll
like so
upload
you
it.
can just download it and
Yeah,
access it whenever you need.
exactly. And every time like I make like a new presentation, it will be available for you girls. Yeah. And also like if anyone has like specific questions, they can go on the DM and like if it's something like more personal, like deeper, like into like, hey, I have this thing about that specific thing that's you feel like other people may not be like that might not be interested in like let's say, oh, I have this thing on the section on this website or whatnot. I'm happy to go through that as well.
Mhm.
Thank you. All
Thank
All
you.
right, well,
Enjoy your
enjoy your
day.
day.
right, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so
All
much for your time.
Sure.
right,
Okay.
thank
Bye.
you.